We'll go down Everleigh Street. We might see a few people there too. Welcome to Redfern, your the people's journey. Where we grew up, I'm about to show you 88 Everleigh Street, Redfern, where I grew up with my grandmother quite a lot. But the block, I'm going to show you and tell you a lot of stories from there, but those lessons became blessings. They built me who I am today, and the character that you've seen and the person that travels the way they do, lives the way they do, came from an area where the belief was you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, why are you doing that, getting judgment from other people. So many different lessons that I'm going to pass on in this series, and if I can, you can. Let's go have a look. A lot of stories within this area, running riots with police, dysfunctional behaviours, fights in the back lane, teaching us the habits and rituals, what we thought were normal. And I used to think it was crazy, but then I realised society in general, they go through the same process of telling themselves things are okay. And even the 20 years that I spent in custody, I think to myself, and I ask other people, do you think that's crazy? And they'll say yes. But you know what's crazier? That people are actually free in this world and they become prisoners of their own mindset. And that's dictated by the value of how you've grown up and the experiences within these environments of the world that then dictate who you become or what you don't become. So we're going to show you the stories that were, part of this area. They were, this was one of the most feared streets in Australia's history. And if I can, you can. If I can shift that behaviour, if I can shift that thought, if I can shift that belief, those habits, those rituals, then you can too. Let's go for a walk. Because of community, Everleigh Street back then, don't do that shit. Just block everyone out, you know? I want to share a bit of a story. 88 Everleigh Street is where I grew up. A lot of greatness came from my grandmother's lessons. I want to share one lesson that she taught me. Listen and learn. Could have helped me if I listened a little earlier, 20 years worth of jail. But she wasn't equipped to educate me beyond that, do better in life. And she got me to go to school, but she didn't know how to have conversations beyond that. So you've got to understand the level of conversation and the people in your proximity that allow you to grow into a better space. And as much as they might be valuable to yourself, your parents, your grandparents, your uncles, your aunties, your brothers, family, friends, what's the cap on their ceiling and what could they teach you? 88 Everleigh Street taught me a lot of greatness, a lot of sadness, but also the number 88 became infinity to myself, and I flipped that power into power and strength for myself and created the life I want. 88 Everleigh Street. If I can, you can. Let's go. Look at all the uni students that walk down here now. The stories from back in the day, there was no way that people wouldn't come into this area. If you got in a cab in the city, they'd tell you to get out. If you said Redfern, they were like, out. And these students walking down now and seeing these students go through this process or this transition of the area where it went from, destructive, violent, scary to, a place where you wouldn't even understand that that place even existed. These homes, just lush, like it's been gentrified and or done up, luxury looking. This looks like Double Bay or something. And I know back in the day, we used to look at the richer areas as the posh and too good for us. Aboriginal people still live here, and I think that's a lesson in itself. When we learn better habits, sometimes we judge people on the level of their role modeling, but once they learn better habits, they come back and they're able to apply themselves into a different way of life. So try to get out of judgment. The lesson from this is, in society, we tend to judge people without understanding the level of their role modeling. So I'll give you an example. If you aren't a millionaire, why aren't you a millionaire? There's enough information out there to do so, but you grew up in an environment where that wasn't taught to yourself, so you won't act that out or behave that in the way that you would like, obviously on a financial freedom level. So the same principle happened to us as Aboriginal people. As young kids, our role modelling, my parents, they gave me the cap of their ceiling. They were good people underlying, but they didn't know how to teach me financial freedom. They didn't know how to teach emotional regulation. So when I was stressed out, violence was the way of this area, and it was, you know, as I said, one of Australia's most notorious streets. And I look at it now and I think to myself, get out of judgment as a society. Seek to understand, to actually sit with somebody. The word empathy, it sort of gets brushed off quite a lot. I don't know why it's in the dictionary, because most people don't practice it these days. But in general, we can be better. The word Mellorism, by sitting down, if you've got the judgment, you've got the solution with the person or the community or the environment to create a change. And what a change it's been. If we can, you can. Let's go. We're down here at Mundy's Gym in Redfern, and I wanted to share a bit of a story about these bricks. They were part of the old Redfern, the destructive, dysfunctional, but they provided hope for us. They gave us a space to train in. We had a champion in Tony Mundine himself, who gave us hope that if we did something different, maybe we could shift and change. And when it got knocked down, the whole block got knocked down. To give you context, they kept these bricks from the old gym and put it into the new gym. And it means that chapter 5 isn't like chapter 55. People don't even know that I was a bank robber or been in jail for 20 years or gone through what I've gone through. And what that means is, when you do the work on yourself, this is the lesson that becomes a blessing. You do the work on yourself and you develop every single day around the pillars of life. The only thing you're going to get out of life is magic for yourself. And the transition and change is evident between the old and the new. And I can't tell you how much that's worth. How much is inner peace, how much is peace of mind, how much is connection to who you actually say you represent. It's priceless. So if I can, you can. Let's go.